Hi, Fumi. I'm APhelps, and I'm going to do one of these favorite story installation things. Why? Because Joe and Juliana asked people to do them, and I was having a moment of weakness. Um, I was struggling with this because I don't like picking favorites. It's not one of my favorite things. But Joe gave us some grace there and said, well, it could be top five or your top 10 favorite stories. And so, well, I just picked a story, and today it is my favorite. And the story that I settled on was the story of Jesus' first miracle, um, because, a first sounded like a good place to start. So I'm going to read that story, and then I'll talk about it for a minute or two, but not more than 10, because I've been instructed that I should not speak for longer than that. Anyway, I'm going to read the story from John chapter 2, and it's verses 1 through 11. And this is from the Message Bible. 3 days later, there was a wedding in the village of Canaan in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and the disciples were guests also. When they started running low on wine at the wedding banquet, Jesus' mother told him, "They're just about out of wine." And Jesus said, "Is that any of our business, Mother? Yours or mine? This isn't my time. Don't push me." She went ahead anyway, telling the servants, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." 6 stoneware water pots were there, used by the Jews for ritual washings. Each held 20 gallons to 30 gallons. And Jesus ordered the servants, "Fill the pots with water." And they filled them to the brim. "Now fill your pitchers and take them to the host," Jesus said. And they did. When the host tasted the water that had become wine, he didn't know what had just happened, but the servants, of course, knew. He called out to the bridegroom, "Everybody I know begins with their finest wine, and after the guests have had their fill, brings in the cheap stuff. But you have saved the best until now." This act in Canaan of Galilee was the first sign Jesus gave, the first glimpse of his glory, and the disciples believed in him. So, that's the story. Seems sort of short and to the point. We do love a short story that's to the point. So, I got a couple of things I want to say about this particular story. The first thing I want to say is that I love a party or a gathering of any kind. And yet, every time that one of these events crops up in my life, there's anxiety around it. I start to worry if I'm hosting the party. What if nobody comes? Or what if someone gets left out and their feelings get hurt? Or what if everyone comes? And all of these things are anxiety inducing. Weddings in Jesus' day were a big deal. I guess they still are. And it was a way to celebrate this new union and to show off a bit that you made a good match. If it was a good party, then the bridegroom, was going to be a good provider. The party was a symbol of wealth in many ways. Now, these first century wedding feasts, they weren't just, one afternoon or even one evening event. These wedding feasts often lasted for 4 days. So it was a big deal. Weddings are a very human endeavor. They bring a community together. And for his first recorded miracle, Jesus is at a wedding. I love this. I love that he's at a party. He's at a joyful celebration. That feels fun. It doesn't feel stuffy or pious. He isn't there judging people and saying what you should and shouldn't do. He's there to participate in a celebration. And when they start to run out of wine, he doesn't say, "Well, I guess they should have planned ahead." Or, "They shouldn't have had so much to drink early." Or, "Wow, I guess they just don't have enough money for this party." He doesn't try to teach the host a lesson, some big message on how he should have done things. He just makes more wine. so the celebrating can continue. Now, before you get all excited about all this talk about wine, imagine, if you will, trying to have Thanksgiving dinner without enough sweet tea. Or at my house, if we start to run out of Dr. Pepper. This is a real emergency. Imagine that there's a party that you're throwing and your job was to bring the sweet tea or the Dr. Pepper or whatever. And it starts to run out. And you feel embarrassed, and maybe you start to worry that you've ruined the party. Maybe it is because you didn't plan very well. Maybe it's because people took more than you anticipated. Maybe it's because you have so many friends that came to celebrate with you that you were so welcoming that you wanted everybody to come. You don't want to leave anybody out. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So you opened your doors to everybody, and they all came to be a part of the party. Maybe this is what happened to the couple at the wedding in this story from John. Maybe they were showing great hospitality too. They opened up their celebration to the whole community, not wanting to exclude anyone. I mean, we know that not only were Jesus and his mother there, but all of the disciples with them. That's radical welcome. And because they showed radical welcome, they started to run out of wine. And that threatened to shut down the party and to publicly embarrass the family. And then Jesus comes along and he not only makes more wine, he makes the best wine. And isn't that just like Jesus? Stepping in to support radical hospitality. I love that the first recorded miracle of Jesus endorses building a bigger table and welcoming everyone to the party. And when scarcity threatens, he ensures that there is enough. The second thing I love about this story is a little more straightforward, I guess. I love that it's a story about Jesus being a son who doesn't want to disappoint his mom. I have parents who I didn't want to disappoint, and I'm the mother of sons, so I know a little bit about that dynamic. Most of us don't want to disappoint our parents, but we also are growing into becoming our own person, and that's a struggle, a struggle of growing up. You want to be who you are, but you don't want to disappoint your mom and dad. And Jesus gets it. He tells his mother, it's not yet my time. And she believes in him anyway. He says, woman, is this any of our business? And she says to the servants, just do what he tells you to. In the end, he does what his mom asks. He makes more wine. I like to think that he knows that his life's call is going to be kind of tough on her. And he gives her this request to save their friends from embarrassment and to keep the party going. In short, I love that this Jesus at the wedding at Cana in Galilee, he is so relatable. He is human in the most extraordinary way. He reminds us that Mother knows best, and he shows us the importance of supporting our friends, of celebrating life's joys. He affirms that we can take the risk of showing radical hospitality because he will ensure there is enough. So that's why it's my favorite story. Well, it's my favorite for today. Have a good day, Fumi. I'll see you soon. Bye.